welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. In the previous episode, we gained access to Tarm Ruins and explored pretty much all of it, obtaining not only the entrance to this dungeon that stands before us now, but finally an upgraded sword that shoots laser beams when you have full health. So in this episode, we're going to, we're going to be doing pretty much exactly what you think we're going to be doing. We're going to be heading into the Ancient Ruins. And, just a heads up, you know, I've said before that the dungeons really kick up in quality, right around halfway through. This dungeon is no exception. Things get pretty damn cool from here on out. So as you see, we already got all these different paths to go through, more Gibdos here, although with the brand new Noble Sword, they're not much of a problem at all. Any statues shoot fireballs at you, but the Iron Shield makes them not much of a problem whatsoever. So yes, already these upgraded sword and shield are already coming into use. So we head through here, some ropes, mind the gaps in the floor, you know my history with those. Rocks would have been kind of nice to have here, but let's bump you into the pit. So now we slayed all the enemies in the room, yet that door doesn't open. In fact, there isn't anything we can do to open it from this side. Turns out this is a one-way path. So, looks like the ruins are trying to direct us in a certain direction here. Looks like we have no choice between that and that lock block there to head north. Wouldn't you know it? It's one of those turnstiles. You remember one of those. You remember the thing we saw in the Snake's Remains, right? Well, that one was pretty easy to negotiate around. This one's gonna be a little trickier. And right here we see another locked thing. That one's a locked door. We'll let that spark live for now. And through here, careful with the blade traps. This area can be particularly difficult, because if you make that pit appear, it's going to be a lot harder to get across there, or at least require a lot more switching between items. I meant to do that. 1, 2, 3. Take caution. Don't stand on any of these. One of these days, I'm actually going to heed my own advice. You want to not stand on the cracked floors for too long at a time. Quick run over to this chest gives us 5 rupees. Notice that was actually a blue rupee, you know, unlike the red-colored 5 rupees that we've been seeing everywhere else in the game. I'm not sure what was up with that. That's here we find ourselves back in that one-way room. So, did we just go in a loop for nothing? No, we actually did accomplish something here. Because if we head back to the north, you see, you remember the whole rule with these turnstiles is that every time you go in it, the next time you enter it, it'll go in the opposite direction. Well, now that we've gone all the way back around, we can take it and head west this time, actually making progress. You find more Gibdos here. Kind of fitting they'd have mummies in a ruinsy dungeon like this. You notice this area in general kind of has a bit of a deserty Egyptian feel to it, which is, you know, kind of fitting considering it's a tower-like ruin sitting at the top of a mountain adjacent to a dense forest. Jokes aside, though, the atmosphere here is actually really cool, and the music makes it even better. Just listen to the music for a second. Yeah, I know. It just kind of gets stuck in your head. It's very impressive for 8-bit. Actually, let's get rid of this spark first. There we go. And so now, we got a more complicated puzzle with the magnet gloves. Now we got to push this iron ball. But now, we gotta get ourselves across to this other side of the... Almost made it. Gotta get ourselves across to the other side to keep moving this thing. We're here, then push it away. Jump. Made it that time, and now... place it there. Now we gotta get it across that gap without it falling into the pit. If it does fall into the pit, you'll have to leave and come back, and the iron ball will return. Don't worry, you're not stupid like that. And now we have a key. Wait a minute, though. I'm thinking, but we saw 2 locked doors. They surely wouldn't put us in a situation due to such bad design where we have 2 locked doors and 1 key to open them with, and we have to choose which one is the correct one, and hope that we don't either put ourselves at a dead end because we opened the wrong one, or end up skipping an optional section with some extra bonus goodies entirely due to pure luck. Well, actually, once we obtain this dungeon map first of all, and check out to see that this is a very, very tall dungeon. 5 floors is the biggest we've seen so far, although the upper floors aren't much to write home about. As you can see, the dungeon itself looks like a tower, an uneven tower, as seen from the front, even though we're technically looking up from above. Either way, it works. So through here, careful. Don't worry, folks. I didn't forget about that whole thing with the locked door. That will come into play shortly. And don't worry, I didn't miss that chest either. That'll be coming into play shortly as well. Saying this, mine those. I honestly forget their names, but you don't want to touch them. So here we have an otherwise nondescript room with some tiles marked there. There's a crystal switch over there. Well, you'd think we could just throw a boomerang at it, right? Well, it kind of it doesn't reach. And no matter what you try to do, you will not be able to hit that switch. So, yeah, perhaps this falls into the realm of one of those things that we cannot accomplish until we get the dungeon item here. So, as you can see, we didn't miss that chest at all because we got to backtrack anyway. Mind the whatever it's called. And in this chest is 10 rupees. It's not ancient ruins without treasure to plunder, even if it's very, very lackluster treasure. So now we have no choice but to push this block and head through here. That door will close behind us. Normally you'd think this would be a dead end, but since we're on this side now, we can now move this iron ball down, push it onto the switch, and now we have the ability to head through there in the other direction. And so you're thinking, wait a minute, we do have 2 locked doors here to choose from. Well, a door and a block. We could just decide not to unlock that block, go all the way back around, and unlock the door up to the northeast, correct? Actually, due to how the turnstile functions and how some of these pathways are blocked off by one-way shutters, you actually can't reach that other locked door yet. So, because you see, careful. As you see, if we try to go back around, without unlocking that block, the turnstile would take us from the west down to here, and then we'd try to go back to the east because we couldn't take the turnstile from here to east, and then we'd end up getting blocked by that one-way shutter from the room we saw before, so we couldn't have unlocked that door the first time, which is very, very interesting. So now we got to head through here again, more turnstile shenanigans. What can we do now that we have come back through here again, you might ask? Well, actually, a little more than you'd think. Careful, we actually don't have to kill all the enemies here. And down through here, and now real fast once we take out these ropes, from afar no less. If you take a look at the map, you notice there's a room down to the south of here all by its lonesome. And in fact, you think, wait a minute, couldn't we, maybe that's one of those blocked off rooms that you have to come down to from the floor above? Well, actually, there isn't a room directly above. Meaning we're gonna have to find a way to get there from this room. And sure enough, by doing some wall exploring here, wait a minute, what's that? That wall is bombable. And so through here, we find another one of those rupee secret rooms like the one in the snake's remains. Yeah, this is more like it as far as treasure goes, huh? As before, these mystery rupees will contain anywhere from 1 to, I believe, 20. So we just picked up a total hoard of 143 of them, which is pretty nice. So we head back through here. Let's get that iron shield out just in case something tries to shoot a fireball at us. And I would have blocked it if I hadn't, pressed the wrong button out of reflex. You see now, with that lock block open and an iron ball placed on that switch, we can head to the west now instead of just back up to the north. And if you remember, the turnstile is currently set to, these damn ropes keep hitting me, currently set to send you clockwise. So if we head back through here, we can use the turnstile to go north this time. And sending us up into a room we could not access before. Let's get rid of this other spark before it causes too much of a headache, and now we can get our health back too. So we have another iron ball here. They're doing, you notice, the puzzles involving these things in this dungeon so far are quite different from the ones in the Unicorn's Cave, which is very nice for the sake of variety. So placing the ball on that switch uncovers these stairs up here, letting us reach the second floor. And things don't get any less complicated from here, because as you can see, there's a very big focus on traps and such in these ruins, because, it just wouldn't be cliche ruins without it. Whoa. Through here, hold on to your hat, Link. Jump that again. And now we find more of these spiked beetles. Oh boy. Now can you imagine what it would be like to have had a like get your shield earlier in Tarm Ruins outside and go, hopefully I can manage hopefully I can manage to get through here without it. And then you get to this room and you have these things harassing you. Either way, we have a small key here, which, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That bodes well, doesn't it? So now, wait a minute. Hold up just a second here. No, wait. Okay, alright, now we gotta go back here. Got confused a little for a second there. You know, you play through this game several times. Sometimes there's still some things that you'll miss. So we get back through here. Jump. Miss me, blade traps. This does not save you much time at all. And so now we gotta go all the way back around. This might take a bit. And now we can take this to go clockwise and repeat the path we took already. And now we can finally take this to the east again and now reach that other locked door. Is that a complicated puzzle for the first floor or what? An Oracle of Seasons is supposed to be more heavy on combat. Now we head through here, things aren't going to get any easier. Because now we got a bunch of gaps to cross. Oh, and even though the Iron Shield can block a lot of things, BMOS lasers are not one of them. Yep. So we head across the sea, yeah. Actually, we want to head off a little to the west first, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, you don't. It got me anyway, that little... Careful. So we got a chest here. And it's a good thing the BMOS does have trouble aiming sometimes. We just got the compass. And a quick glimpse of the map shows there are quite a few chests to find. And of course, you know they can still hide things. Well, that's one way to get back to the entrance of the room. They can still hide things, they can still have stuff like drop from the ceilings and stuff without being in chests. And since these are ancient ruins with all the tropes that come with them, you know that's going to happen a few times. Well, that's a recovery heart gone to waste. So we got a switch to hit here. And if the hastily placed walkway wasn't any indication, you want to have your Pegasus seats ready. So as soon as you hit the switch, you want to gun it. A bridge appears to the next room, but this pathway starts to give way. And yes, the path does respawn if you leave and come back, so if you don't end up making it, you can just try it again. Apparently the ancients were rather forgiving in their traps. We're back up on the second floor in this unusually open room with just a few gibdos in it and a very, very conspicuous cracked wall. Maybe they couldn't figure out what to do with this room. I'm not sure. I don't know. And in this chest are, well, that was rather obvious, wasn't it? It almost feels like this room was just kind of thrown in here because I couldn't figure out what else to do with it. But now, in here, something slightly more interesting. We have a couple different directions we can take. And a chest here containing 5 rupees, and, it's a trap! Because these Armo statues come to life. And these are the red ones, so your sword can't hurt them. And here we find, another booby trap in the form of some shrouded Stalfos, because, there ain't nothing in this room and you gotta kill the enemies to advance. It almost seems like they just couldn't quite figure out what to do with this side of the second floor. Regardless, though, now we know the correct way to go is to the west. Out of the way, Keys. So even we're as far as the 6th dungeon, and those things are still harassing us. Up, another spiny beetle. You know it. These things here. Very generous for the recovery hearts, though. Now we have a trampoline. We head up here. See that, oh, we're not getting anywhere from this side. Die already. So we're gonna have to push that trampoline. And if you did have your shield eaten by a like this, would get a lot more annoying because you'd have one of those beetles harassing you this whole way. But since we held on to it, it's not all that hard to just push it over to the marked tile here and jump on. We find ourselves up on the 3rd floor now. We have no way to go. Excuse me. We have no other way to go than south. Another ball and chain soldier here. Keep an eye out for him. He's got some very good aim. But now he's also dead. That is a way back down, should you need it. You will need it eventually. Through here. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Hopefully we get something useful in this chest, huh? And I should mention real fast, you see, in the Oracle games, the first 5 dungeons all give you brand new items, while the 6th through 8th give you upgrades to existing ones. And the item in this chest just so happens to be one of the most fun items in either Oracle game, because we're about to get the magical boomerang. Press the control pad while holding the button down to control its flight path. Yes, this baby ain't just the longer range boomerang that you find in the previous Zeldas. You can almost remotely control where it goes. And it can do more than just stun enemies. There's some that can actually harm, like these Armos here. So now we can sit in safety and curve it up to these statues to take them out. They do drop some nice stuff, by the way. This boomerang is just, this has so much utility. It's so much more useful than boomerangs generally are in any Zelda other than the first one. And just like that, all the Armos are dead. And now we can head back down and make preparations for our ascent up the other side of the ruins. Yeah, there's still quite a bit more to explore. And so, that's a glimpse of what's to come, by the way. And so we find ourselves back down in the central chamber. And so, next time when Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons, sorry for the abrupt ending, but it really is for the best that we take a breather here, because the rest of the dungeon is pretty arduous. I mean arduous as in long and challenging, not arduous as in painful to play through, because this is a very fun dungeon. But next time when Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons, we're going to be exploring the second half of the ancient ruins. See you guys then.